Cutting across to all that rampage that went on in Karnataka's Bengaluru by Pro-Kannada activists, smashing signboards that were all written in English. Now, the Pro-Kannada activist chief Narayan Gowda, who led those protests against non-Kannada signboards yesterday, has been arrested along with his associates. He's been sent to a 15-day judicial custody. He's currently in Parappana Agnahara Central Jail. Vandals from the fringe group attacked shops across the city of Bengaluru, damaging signages, and billboards were ripped apart, all those that were not mentioned in Kannada. Though interestingly, many of the signages had, in many of the business establishments that they targeted, indeed had a Kannada signboard on the side, but the English signboard right beside that was targeted. Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar has slammed the vandals for destroying shops and peace in the city. He's asserted that there's no tolerance to law and order disruption, and there is a need, in fact, to protect the interests of every citizen, particularly those who are running businesses, but no compensation will be given to any of those businesses that have incurred a loss thanks to the KRV.
I am very much disturbed that they have vandalized very places, boards and all. They can have their black flag, they can shout, they can ask them to implement the government order which is there for 60% of the board. We don't want to object them. As activities they can do it, but they can't take the law into their hands. That is whoever may be, they can't threaten the government. We have to protect every citizen of the state. Anything is there, government is there to take up.
ಕಾನೂನು ತಿದ್ದುಪಡಿಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಆದಷ್ಟು ಬೇಗನೆ ಈ ಕಾನೂನು ತಿದ್ದುಪಡಿ ಎರಡೂ ಹೌಸ್ನೊಳಗೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾನೂನು ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರೇಮನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಆದಷ್ಟು ಬೇಗ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ದಯಮಾಡಿ ಹೋರಾಟವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೋರಾಟಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮದು ಬೆಂಬಲ ಇದೆ. ಆದರೆ ಕಾನೂನು ಕೈಗೆತ್ತಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂಥ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು, ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಆಸ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಆಸ್ತಿಗಳನ್ನು ಹಾನಿ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ ಅಂತ ವಿನಂತಿಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಸೆಷನ್ ವಿಚಾರದೊಳಗೆ ನಾನು ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳ ಗಮನಕ್ಕೆ ತರುವಂಥ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
All right, let me cut across to brand expert Harish Bijur, who is a true Kannadiga, true bred Kannadiga, speaks the language, is born and bred in Bengaluru, is a Kannadiga himself. Thanks, Harish Bijur, for speaking to India Today. We're looking at this violence that panning out in Bengaluru really raises questions on what happens to brand Bengaluru. How would you perceive the images that have really grabbed headlines over the last 24 hours?
The visuals I see panning out on television channels, really painful, looking at the fact that, nameplates are being brought down in several locations, and the accent seems to be violent. And I do believe Bengaluru is a city which is a non-violent city. The Kannadiga is an all-embracing person. We are very inclusive as a people, and to an extent, taking the law into our own hands, creating an environment where people are worried, not a great thing to do. And I do believe at all costs this must be avoided, because this issue is really about maintaining the peaceful equity of Bengaluru. Brand Bengaluru is considered to be that. We are considered to be a Bisi Bele Baat city, and Bisi Bele Baat is our own version of a khichdi, which is really to say that, at the end of the day, we are a city which attracts people from all over, and we live together peacefully. When it comes to language, however, I've always believed that Bengaluru must be a bilingual city. We must have Kannada and we must have English. These two languages will take care of us, because at the end of the day, extremely important to respect the local language, which is Kannada, and at the same time embrace a language which everybody understands seamlessly, which is English. And I think this has been going on beautifully till this happened. So I think extremely important to embrace the peaceful embrace once again and avoiding this fracas. I do believe even this shall pass as Everything does.
But Mr. Bijur, it's of course nothing to do with Kannada not being prioritized. If that was the case, then this would have been done in a more civil manner. The KRV activists here clearly indulging in vandalism more than activism. It almost looks like this is an attention-seeking tactic, more or less. But coming to the crux of this issue here, how do you really strike a balance between upholding and prioritizing Kannada language, Kannada culture, yet at the same time inviting businesses? Bengaluru is known as a global IT hub. You have businesses of all kinds from all parts of the world. How do you strike that balance?
Language, we need to understand, is a passion. Language is something that needs to be respected, and to that extent I do believe if there are rules and laws which says that name boards of establishments must have a percentage of English and a percentage of Kannada on it, so be it. It must be followed by all businesses. Well, in some cases where it's not been followed, I believe it's time for notices to be delivered to them and for rectifications to be done. Because please note, language belongs in the hearts of people. And at the end of the day, respect for the language as afforded by everybody is reciprocated back by a people. When it comes to the debate between English and Kannada, I do believe both belong to us. I am very, very proud to speak Kannada all the time. I am equally proud when I speak English with my Kannadiga accent. Because, a language belongs not from where it has come. A language belongs to the people who speak it. And guess what? India is the largest English-speaking nation in the world today. And I speak English with my own accent, just as you speak English with your own accent. At the end of the day, English is even ours. So no debate on that. But
absolutely,
primacy of the local language must be maintained. And I think just as long as that's done, everything is hunky-dory.
Well, Mr. Harish Bijur, very well said. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time speaking to India Today. Anagha is still with us, though. Anagha, the images that have come in in the last 24 hours are really, truly disturbing. Karnataka government says they will not tolerate this kind of vandalism, but yet at the same time, I'm sure people would agree that the KRV activists were given a loose rope. They had met with the BBMP officials just a week before they've indulged in this kind of vandalism. BBMP has assured that there's a deadline of Feb 28th. Then what was the reason to jump the gun? Why were there no prohibitory orders or restraining orders that were imposed on the KRV members who were already protesting in parts of Airport Road yesterday?
Well, that's right, Nabila. It just seems like the entire police department was caught off guard looking at the magnitude of protest that erupted. Maybe, when I spoke to the DCP yesterday, he said that he wasn't really prepared for this, for a protest of this scale. He said that he was surprised to see them march to Laval Road and go on a rampage and destroying shops, because the original location, that they had stated that they will be protesting in was Airport Road. But as the protest went on, it just escalated and it went on throughout the city. And today, I'm just coming from Laval Road, but in Laval Road, what we saw was that we saw good amount of police deployment over there. The same spot where the Pro-Kannada activist went on a rampage, there is the police deployed in every single sensitive region, from Laval Road, Brigade Road, Commercial Street, and even in Airport Road, outside Mall of Asia. Mall of Asia has complete security deployment today, given what happened yesterday. But today, the Pro-Kannada activists, they even put out a threat saying that we will gherav CM's residence because of the kind of statement CM gave yesterday. CM said that action will be taken against the Pro-Kannada activists. So for this statement, they had threatened that they will gherav CM's residence, but all of them, 1,000 of them are in preventive custody, 50 of them are in judicial custody. Narayan Gowda has been arrested. He will be taken to Parappan Agrahara. He has been given 15 days custody by the magistrate. So throughout the city of Bangalore, there is sufficient police deployment.
Okay, well, a little too late in the day, but at least right now the police have ensured that this will not happen again. That's DK Shivkumar who says it won't be tolerated, but the same DK Shivkumar was quiet whole of yesterday, not a word that came out from him. He's met with the KRV members just about a few days ago himself while they held a meeting. We're not too sure what exactly was part of that meeting, but DK Shivkumar really had it in his powers to avoid a situation like this. Brand Bengaluru is something that he boasts of. This was shameful. Shocking visuals that came in from state of Karnataka, which has reignited the language controversy in the state. Pro-Kannada activists from Kannada Rakshana Vedike held a protest demanding that all businesses and enterprises in Karnataka use nameplates written in Kannada. And during the protest, they went on to vandalize those name boards, sprayed black ink. All the boards that were written in English were all damaged. Interestingly, there were Kannada boards that were right beside the English boards. They were untouched, but the English boards were damaged. So clearly priorities misplaced for the pro-Kannada groups here.
Shops vandalized, luxury stores attacked. Language activists rampage across the streets of Bengaluru days after the city's civic body slapped notices on commercial establishments to sport signages in Kannada. Karnataka Rakshana Vedika workers led by Narayana Gowda smashed glass doors and destroyed English signboards of multiple businesses in the IT city on Wednesday.
It is very disappointing that the commercial establishments are not following the law of the land, and also government is not ready to implement the order which is passed by the government itself.
Narayana Gowda, who was later detained, declared only those who have signboards in Kannada will be allowed to do business in Karnataka.
ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯಾಪಾರ ಮಾಡುವ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಳಿಗೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕಡ್ಡಾಯವಾಗಿ ಕನ್ನಡದ ನಾಮಫಲಕ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು, ಕನ್ನಡವನ್ನ ಬಳಸಬೇಕು. ಕನ್ನಡ ಬಳಸಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋಕೆ ಬಿಡಲ್ಲ.
Karnataka Rakshana Vedike workers have now once again decided to take law into their own hands. They've come down to the Lavelle Street, which is one of the most busiest central business district places of Bangalore, and they've vandalized the most prominent shops over here, which contribute greatly, in fact, to Karnataka's economy. We have one of the most iconic fashion designer shops, Shantanu Nikhil. You know, in fact, if you look at the image over there, the Shantanu Nikhil that is written in English, that has been taken down.
The violent protest by the KRV workers took the Bengaluru police by surprise. Authorities said they were not expecting such vandalism and assured tightened security. Earlier, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah had said that the establishments will have to comply with the Kannada signboard order before February 28. With Anagha Keshav in Bengaluru, Bureau Report, India Today.